Well, Misty, thank you so much for joining us here on the Entrepreneurial Success Podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here because, like I said, we've never had anybody here with us today just sharing some great advice and tips all about doing Facebook Lives. But before we get started on all of those good stuff, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm a stay-at-home wife and mompreneur. I live in Tucson, Arizona. My kids are 5 and 7 now, and I'm really living my dream being able to stay at home with them. That was my heart's desire as soon as my daughter was born. So for as long as I can remember, I've wanted to find a way to work from home and, work for myself, make money for myself, being at home with my kids. And I think I've just about tried and stumbled through everything, including breeding exotic animals, running a fabric business out of my home. I went through 5 different network marketing companies before I finally found my 6th one that just really fit me and my goals and how I wanted to market myself. So when I finally stumbled onto the concept of learning attraction marketing online, it just really, connected with me and how I wanted to grow my business. And it actually was the first thing that really started to work for me. So I knew I needed to, help spread the word and help other people out there who are maybe feeling a bit stuck like I was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So right now I'm actually working on creating a Pinterest course with both, strategy and then an entire system of what people can do every day to pull in leads. And then the other big project I'm working on is an online summit where I'm pulling in a lot of amazing experts to teach direct sellers how to market using, passive and active attraction marketing strategies. So I'm really excited to bring that value out into the world soon.
That's amazing. And we're going to talk about the summit a little bit towards the
Absolutely.
end of the podcast. Mm-hmm. But I think the one thing that always fascinates me is when I have these interviews with female entrepreneurs like yourself, I always find that there's a bit of a passion, a drive behind why you started in the first place that brought you to where you are now. So in particular for you, what was that? What was the passion and the drive behind your business and starting it up?
Yeah, for me, the struggle was just real. Like I struggled for over a decade trying to grow business and having pretty much no results and just that frustration, just knowing what it felt like to be so stuck. And, I have some big God-sized dreams for me and my family. And, once I had my kids, I realized I would do anything to not have to go back to work in my corporate life. And I just got really determined to find a way to make it work. And for me, after, trying, failing, wasting so much time doing all the wrong things, when I finally found some strategies that worked, it was really, I realized it was all about just creating some systems, putting some systems in place to really force myself to take action on the right things every day. And, started automating what I could and documenting everything as I went so that I could teach it to other people so they could duplicate it. Because I knew there were other people out there like me, who were just like stuck and thinking like, oh, maybe this industry just doesn't work for me, or, I don't know how to do this. And I wanted to help people fast track their results so they don't have to waste a decade of their life like I did trying to figure it all out.
And I love the fact that you're saying it's this attraction, marketing attraction. Is that the wording you're using, the terminology?
Attraction marketing. So it's really about drawing people into you with curiosity and value rather than just like pushing on people like buy my stuff, join my team, do that thing that we all tend to do. We get excited about this new company we just joined that really just pushes people away because they want to think it was their idea to ask you about what you're doing, right? They don't want to be sold to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that you're saying that. And I think part of what we're going to talk about today in particular is also, like I said, we're going to talk about Facebook Lives. And you've got 10 great tips to share with us about Facebook Lives and how to do Facebook Lives. But before we get there, when you started or from your experience doing Facebook Lives, do you find that that works as well with that attraction marketing kind of system that you've got in place?
Absolutely. I mean, Facebook Lives are one of the best things to get people to stop their scroll on their newsfeed, you know,
Yes.
Because not everybody's doing video. I can talk about some statistics in a little bit, but you know, when you're just scrolling mindlessly through your newsfeed, or you see in your notifications like, oh, so-and-so's live right now, you know, you're more apt to click on that or look at it than just a regular post that doesn't have even a picture or anything, right? So even just the fact that it is a live video, and you're out there doing something confidently, that's attractive to people.
Yeah. I'm really excited to hear all about what you're going to say about Facebook Lives. Hands up, I've done them in the past. I'm still doing them, maybe not as often as I should. So for me in particular, I'm really excited to hear. And for the audience, if you're listening or watching this video right now, Misty's got 10 great tips that she's going to share with us. So watch this video, listen to what we're going to talk about in the next couple of minutes, but don't worry and don't scatter around about making a bunch of notes, because what we're going to talk about here in the next coming minute or two, Misty has put together in a fantastic PDF form for you, which you can download. But I think for now, Misty, why don't I just hand over to you and you just talk to us about these 10 amazing tips for everybody, all about Facebook Lives and why in particular they need to do Facebook Lives.
Absolutely. So, you know, we were talking about attraction marketing. If you really want to grow your business, you have to think like a marketer.
Yeah.
You just do. And you have to think about how to do it without being a sleazy salesperson, which, you know, doesn't make us feel good either.
Yeah.
So one of the best ways you can connect with your audience is live videos. So I'll give you a couple of quick statistics that may be a little bit surprising. So 78% of people watch online videos every week, and 55% view online videos every day. So people are watching video. That's what they're being attracted to. And I saw the statistic by 2020, online videos are estimated to make up more than 80% of all consumer internet traffic, and 85% in just the US. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video, compared to 10% when they read it in text. That's huge. If you want people to understand the message that you're getting across, do it in a video.
Yes.
Also, 100 million hours of video are watched every day on Facebook, and 500 million people watch Facebook videos every day. So there's a huge audience out there looking for videos. Facebook videos receive 135% more organic reach on average than a Facebook photo. So those posts that you make that you're not putting any money behind, Facebook just, you know, their algorithms, they're going to show it to more people. They're going to put it in their news feeds more than just a regular post. And one more stat here, shoppers who view demo videos are 1.81 times more likely to make a purchase. So I'm telling you, videos are the way to go. You know, Facebook places more importance on live videos than uploaded videos. So they do show them more to people in their news feeds, pop them up in the notification. You know, the bottom line really is like Facebook Lives are one of the best ways for entrepreneurs to get their message out there for free. They just are. And I believe that if we have solutions for people, and we're not sharing them because of our own insecurities, then we're really doing them a disservice. So we need to, you know, put on our big girl panties and show up because think about this, like, who are you not helping if you don't put yourself out there? Like, didn't you join your business partially so you could help people? Like, it wasn't just about you and wanting to make money, right? You say you want to help people. I'm pretty sure about that. So if you're not putting yourself out there, somebody is missing your message, and it's your job to get your message in front of them. So we can get into the top 10 tips that I have for you. And like you said, I'm going to give a PDF that will list these all out, so you don't have to take notes and, you know, all of that. But number one really is ignore the numbers. So if you haven't built up your social influence yet, or you haven't gone live in a while, you may have no one or just very few people watching your live, and that is okay. More people watch the replays anyway, just statistically. And if you do have a lot of people watching and that intimidates you, try to think about that one person that you're speaking to, just the one, you know, your target person that's like, you know, really needing your message. Treat it like you're just sitting down, having a chat with a close friend, not a big deal. Okay. So just ignore the numbers. Don't worry about whether or not anybody's watching. If nobody's watching, it might be a good thing because you might stink at your first few videos anyway. So just be excited that nobody saw it and you were able to get that practice out there, and you'll do it again another time and get better. Right. So tip number 2 is do not waste time. Don't sit around waiting for people to hop on live to watch. I see that all the time where people waste, like 5 minutes, like, oh, hey, so, and you do want to greet people as they pop on here and there, but you don't want to waste time like, oh, okay, I'll just wait for people to show up and then we'll start.
I've seen that so many times as well, to be honest with you.
Right, because maybe nobody's watching you yet, but when somebody clicks on the replay and they have to sit through 5 minutes of you just sitting there waiting for someone to hop on, like they're gonna ditch out, right?
Yes.
Like they don't want to hear that. So tip number 3, 5 to 15 minutes is good. If you make it too long, you're going to lose attention. People do not have long attention spans. You probably know that when you go to watch a video online and you see like, oh, it's 30 minutes, you're kind of like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
And you walk away. So 5 to 15 minutes is good. If you make it too short, you might not get as many live viewers just because it takes a little while, for it to pop up in their news feeds and them to notice you're doing a live. Or you might not get as much engagement. So, try to stick to 5 to 15. You can go longer. It's okay. But that's a good range to kind of shoot for. Tip number 4, stay on track. Okay. If you need to stay on track, or if you needed to stay on track and make sure you don't miss something, have an outline, give yourself a bullet list or even a script. I'm looking at a little bit of a script right now because I want to make sure I don't miss, telling you some juicy detail that my mom brain might forget. So, use a script or an outline. You don't want to sound like a robot. Don't be a robot. Okay. Be natural, but give yourself some points so that, especially if you are a talker, you don't wind up on some tangent. Or if you're very nervous, you have that to kind of hang on to and keep you, going through your points like you want to.
So true what you're saying, because particularly what I do is I've got little Post-its right next to my camera above my computer with all my bullet points normally of what I need to say, because I love talking as well. So I can sometimes go off track.
Oh, absolutely. And especially if you get finally into that zone where you're comfortable and you're speaking like you're talking to your best friend, or if somebody asks you a question during your live in the comments and you want to address that, you might forget where you left off. And then you're like, Where was I going? So give yourself some points. Yeah, absolutely. Tip number 5 is be you times 2. And that does not mean be fake. You want to be authentic, but you want to put your best self forward. You want to have some personality, speak up so we can hear you. Don't be shy. You're there to bring value or share something meaningful and not waste people's time. And, it does not mean that you need to be, like I said, you don't need to be fake. You don't need to have like tons of crazy energy if that's really not your personality. You're going to draw people into who you are by being natural, but you also don't want to be, super monotone and boring either. So if you need to step it up a notch to keep their interest, then just, bring your best self. Tip number 6 is use eye contact. So you want to make sure, and this is especially true on your phone, that you're looking where the actual camera is. So, you don't want to watch the screen. This is really hard because we want to see ourselves on the screen and we tend to just look at ourselves, right? So if it helps you to not do that, just put a Post-it note over your screen and stare at the camera instead. Just remove.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Tip number 7 is engage before you hit that record button. So if you go on, I'm talking about Facebook right now, but this works for any social media. But if you want to just go and engage with your friends list before you hit record, because especially on Facebook, they will show your video to more people if you've engaged with them recently. So
that's actually really interesting. I've never thought about doing that. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. If you go and have some conversations, put some meaningful comments on other people's posts before you go live, Facebook is going to show your stuff to more people, or those people will see your comment and be like, oh, I wonder what she's been doing lately. And they'll go check out your wall. And hey, you just happen to be live right now. So they're going to pop on and watch.
That's fantastic.
And then, and then here's another tip. Facebook Messenger shows you who is active right now. And you can go to, there's a little spot in Facebook Messenger. You can go and wave at every single person that's active right now. You probably have at least 100 people on your Messenger list right now that are active right now. I mean, they're on Facebook. And so if you go and hit that wave button and just go down the list, and I don't do this every time, but it does bump up your engagement, because they do the same thing. Like, oh, I wonder what she's been doing lately. And they go stalk your profile. And you just happen to be live right now. So they're going to watch because they're curious. People, we're all voyeurs, right? Like that's why we like video. We want to see somebody else's life.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. So number 8 is become consistent. So if you start training your audience on when to expect your lives, they will start planning to watch them, and they'll look forward to seeing what you're doing next. And this is really a great way to build that loyal following of people who know, like, and trust you. So I've got 2 examples of this. I have a network marketer friend who is crushing it in his business. And every week on the same night each week, he does basement karaoke live. And this may not be your thing, but it's just an example, right? But it's totally not related to his business, right? Like, he sells weight loss products, okay? He doesn't sell karaoke, equipment. But he's showing up every week, and people expect it, and they miss it if he's not there. And they're coming to his wall and reading his other posts because he's showing up in a way that, they're enjoying seeing him every week, right? And the comments they leave all over his lives are tons of opportunities for him to connect with his most active friends. So, the people that are commenting, they're the ones that are your hot, your warm people, right? And they want to catch up on how he's doing. So he can shoot them a message because they just commented on his post, and he can turn that into a private conversation where he can kind of lead that, or, develop that relationship or whatever he needs to do to kind of move them into maybe a business conversation or something about his products, if he feels like he can help them with his, what he has to offer.
Yes.
And then another quick example, when I first started doing live videos, I was a bit nervous about it myself, because aren't we all? This is intimidating, being on camera in front of a bunch of people, right? So I got a book that had 30 life lessons in it. And I went live every day for 30 days, just summarizing the lesson I had read for that day. And this really helped me get more comfortable with doing live. So it was as much for me as it was for my audience. But it also started some great conversations with all these new people that I was attracting to look at my profile. And I was doing that with a whole prospecting plan that I had created. But, so I was bringing in all these people, but I was also doing these lives every day. And it wasn't even related, like, to my opportunity. This was just me realizing, hey, I might really suck at my first 30 lives. So let me just get this out of the way before I have a lot of people watching. And I'm going to do it on a topic where I don't need to be an expert. I'm just teaching you something I read today. Like, that's it, right? So it's really all about, like, don't make excuses. Just get on and be consistent, because, like, Facebook rewards consistency and your audience likes consistency. So number 9, we're almost done. I know. Engage with your live viewers. So you want to encourage your audience to comment, I start out a lot of my lives just kind of quick introducing myself, maybe saying who I help, that type of thing. And I usually will say something like, don't be a stalker. If you're watching live, say hi to me, and so that's just like a way for me to kind of break that ice and be like, hey, comment, let me know where you're coming in from, something like that. Encourage people to comment. But you also don't want to be spending a lot of time, saying hi to every single person. Because again, going back to the other one, don't waste time. But, if you see their name pop up and they haven't commented, I will say sometimes it's better to not mention them specifically. So you can see on your live video, like who's watching you. But if they haven't said hi, they might be one of those people that's a little shy to say anything. And they might kind of feel called out if you say their name. And I know I'm guilty of doing this every now and then, especially if I know it's someone that's okay with it. But if it's someone that, just hasn't ever commented, they might really just be that quiet person sitting in the corner that just wants to watch. And they will eventually probably contact you if you've, created some curiosity for them and they've got some interest in what you're doing. But, don't call them out unless they say hi. There is also a wave button now on Facebook Live video. So you can hit a button and wave to them and only they will see it. So and you can also message them afterwards to start a conversation like, hey, thanks for watching my video. I saw you were on there, and then it's a more private conversation.
Yeah.
So it is okay to thank them for joining you, but maybe don't call them out. And then tip number 10, I know this has been a lot, but have decent lighting, audio, and video quality. Okay. Don't overthink it. You do not have to have professional, expensive equipment. I mean, I'm sitting here with my, earbuds and a tiny ring light that I paid like $12 on Amazon for, right? It's not the best equipment in the world. And honestly, if you have too good of equipment, then other people think that they can't duplicate that and they might be intimidated by it. If you're trying to get someone to join your team or something, they might be like, oh, I can't do all that, right? So you want to keep it real, but you also want people to be able to see you and, not be distracted by the giant shadows on your face or something. So you can get some good video with a phone and standing next to a window. I mean, it's not bad. It's not hard to do.
It's not so much about just the equipment. It's more about, number one, just make sure people can see your face, they can hear you okay. And then it's just about the quality of the content you're delivering.
Absolutely. They will focus more on your content too if they're not distracted by something weird. Like, not that you have to clean your house to take a video, but you don't want a giant mess behind you or, you can get strategic about, unless your video is about like, hey, this is my mom life. And you're, that's different. You're like, oh my gosh, look at all these toys my kid got out today. I just cleaned 5 minutes ago. That kind of thing, because people can relate to that and they like that. Right. Yes. But you don't want to have like super poor lighting where they can't even really see you or relate to you, that type of thing. I
do have a couple of questions for you, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When you do your Facebook Lives, I think there's kind of like I don't know if it's a misunderstanding or people are not quite sure where they should do their Facebook Lives. Do they do it on their personal page or their business page? What would you recommend?
That's a really good question. I tell people that if you don't have a big engaged following on your business page, just do it on your personal page. When people come and check out your profile, most of the time they don't run over and check out your business page. They just don't. So the only way to really get people looking at your business page, and Facebook does not, it's pay to play over there, right? So unless you're going to put some money behind promoting your video a bit, it doesn't have to be over there. Now, if you already have a page that you're working and you want to have like regular content over there, go ahead and do it on your page and share it to your wall as a watch party. That way it's almost like it's live and you can engage in there like it's live in the comments and that type of thing. But you don't have to be live on your profile, if that makes sense. But otherwise, if you're new and you don't have a page, don't go create one for this. Just do it on your wall. And the right people will watch. You can put a description like, hey, home business friends, if you're doing a business tips video, or like if it's, obviously not everybody who's on your personal page is your target audience, but you're going to be attracting in more people who are, and you'll start to build up engagement that way.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing is as well is people who watch it, they will start sharing the video among their other friends as well that are not connected with you. So
absolutely,
word of mouth would kind of spread, so to speak, and more people will start engaging and seeing your video.
Absolutely. If you're providing value, and that's another thing too, you need to have your profile set as public. Your posts need to be public, because otherwise people can't share, or new people who are, I'll say, stalking you to see if they want to be your friend, if they can't see it and they don't know what you're about, they're not going to friend request you. So you need to keep it public if you're going to be posting anything on your personal wall.
Yeah. There's something else that you said, which I think is really important, that just kind of stood out for me, in particular for those of you listening now or watching this recording, this video, this interview that we're having. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I really need to start my Facebook Lives. I want to start engaging. I want to start building my following. But you're thinking, what do I do? What do I do to go out and start, doing Facebook Lives? What do I talk about? And I think, Misty, this is something that you said, which is really, really important. It's all about consistency, number one, which is really important. So either you choose to do something at a specific time every single day, or once a week at a specific time in a day, so people know when to expect you. But when it comes to the content, all Misty did is she just had a book of 30 life lessons, and every day for 30 days, she just read that life lesson and just, briefly spoke about it. Am I correct for saying that?
Yes. Yeah. It was all, the book that I read, it was all interviews, and it was life lessons from like elderly folks, and like the things that they wish they had known, or, that kind of thing.
That's amazing.
And it was different categories, and it was a really good book, but it was just, a couple pages. And I didn't just read the chapters, but I would just summarize them and read off my favorite quotes from there and talk about, what I got out of it, or if I had my own personal story to share or something like that, then people started to learn more about me a little bit too in that. So that was a really good one, a good way for me to do it. But I will also say, you do not need to be an expert on anything to start doing this. You just need to know like 1% more than your target audience. So you could even take this training right here and turn this into your own, like, hey, I watched this really cool training today. I hope you thought it was cool. And I learned a few things about doing live video. So I decided to get on and do live today and share with you a couple of the tips that I learned.
Yes.
That would be an awesome video. Go do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. There's your first idea. Go out and do a live video on it. But I think the important part is as well is if you are going to do something, you need to at least do a little bit of planning. So you don't sit down in front of your computer going, oh my gosh, I need to do a live video in 10 minutes. What on earth I'm going to talk about? So I think there needs to be a little bit of planning as well, where you have kind of like a series of things that you're going to talk about. And obviously just summarize and have some bullet points ready. You don't, like we said earlier on, you don't have to have a script where you have everything word for word written down.
Yeah.
But at least something that you have kind of in bullet form where you can talk about. And a simple example, which I love, you said, you just got 30 life lessons and you just went every day and just spoke about it, which is actually so easy to do.
Yeah. I mean, I know that I personally struggle with consistency. And if I had needed to, because I'm also very green personality where I want to script everything out or like have a really good outline before I go live. And so I knew that I couldn't at the time commit to that much time sitting there and coming up with content every day for 30 days. So I was, I was like, hey, where can I get some content, that I can just, all I have to do is read a couple pages, highlight some things, and then just talk about it. So for me, that was a good plan.
And I think also the benefit is just by being consistent, and I'm so sorry we're dragging on about the consistency, but I think it is something that is equally important. You'll see the benefit of it because more people will start reaching out to you. You'll have a better engagement as and when time goes on. So yes, in the beginning, like you said, nobody's going to watch the live videos. You might have a couple of people seeing the replays. You might not have any engagement in the first couple of videos, but that will build up over time. So it's nothing to get discouraged by, but just to keep the momentum going and keep moving forward, because it will happen.
Yeah. Even once you have done a lot of videos, you may still have some where you think you're not getting engagement, but let me tell you, people are watching. I mean, I can tell you in those early stages, I was not getting a ton of comments, or it might be the same 2 or 3 people every night that were commenting on my videos. But I would get random people like in my MOPS group at church saying, oh, I'm loving your videos that you've been putting out lately. And I'm like, I didn't even know you were watching, because they were probably watching the replay. So you don't get notified of that.
Yeah.
And they don't comment. And so I would say the majority of people aren't going to engage. And that's just kind of the world we live in. There's a lot of distractions, or, whatever it is, we don't engage on everything that we see.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but those kind of videos on Facebook Live, they're kind of evergreen videos as well. So they don't just disappear. They stay on your page.
You can repurpose your videos as well. Sometimes I'll put my videos over on YouTube. And I always suggest downloading your videos after you've recorded them if it's good content that you might want to reuse, because I have seen my videos disappear into Facebook's black hole and I cannot find them.
Gosh.
So I don't know what happened to them. And I was so sad because I was like, oh, that was so good. And I can't find my notes on that one or whatever. So definitely download your best videos. Keep them evergreen when you can. So evergreen just means that it's basically timeless, right? Like you could reuse it at any time. And it will still probably apply. So you're not really using dates or anything specific. So whenever you have those types of videos, save them off, because when you're ready to expand out to YouTube, or maybe you want to take some little clips of that and put them in your Instagram stories or something like that, draw people over to you. Like there's definitely ways that you can reuse it and pull people over to actually engage with the original video or whatever your call to action was. You're able to reuse that video. You don't have to just let it, because, and I will say some stuff on Facebook can be short-lived. There are some things you can do to prolong the life of your video, so to speak. But, Facebook is pretty short-lived if you're not getting a lot of engagement. So you got to find ways to keep it going afterwards.
We'll make that tip number 11 on your list.
There you
Download
go.
your videos.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we conclude on everything, I mean, like we said, these top 10 tips basically will be in a PDF format, which you can go and download. And the link is down below this video and below the podcast in my show notes. So by all means, go and have a look at it there. And you kindly mentioned as well that you have a daily action plan now, which you've added as a freebie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and have a look as well, because I'm fascinated by this. But that link will also be down in the show notes. But I think if there's one thing I'd love to talk about now is your summit. Now, I'm really excited about the summit. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about the summit, what it's all about, what's happening, and more importantly, when it's happening.
Absolutely. So it's called the Direct Sales Online Marketing Summit. This is the first one that we're doing. And it is going to start January 28th, and it'll be 4 days long. It's a free summit. There will be a VIP all access pass, so you can upgrade to that if you want to be able to access the videos after the fact and that type of thing. But I have been interviewing some of the most amazing leaders and just a wide variety of people in the network marketing industry. So if you are in direct sales, this is totally going to be your jam. This is not about how to do your grandma's Tupperware party kind of stuff. Okay, so this is like online attraction marketing strategies, ways to grow your business online. And it goes from, free ways to do that into paid ways to do that. And we've interviewed leaders like Simon Chan from MLM Nation podcast, John Melton, Kate McShay, Aaron Birch, like just tons of really awesome leaders in this industry. And it's all free. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're in this industry and you want to learn how to attract more sales and signups online, like go sign up for sure.
And that's going to be on the 28th of January for 4 days in particular. Now, what I'm going to do is the link is in the bottom of my show notes as well. So as soon as you've done listening to this podcast or watching this video, my suggestion is just go and sign up. If you're one of those who is now in the process of trying to attract your ideal clients or customers, or you might even be struggling to find customers and clients, then I highly suggest you go and sign up for the summit, because I think it is going to be so powerful. You're going to learn so many great stuff just, being there on the summit. Misty, I am thrilled to have had you here on this podcast.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
No, honestly, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to the summit because, that's going to be just fantastic. It's very much in the range of what I'm doing. So I'm going to definitely get some great tips from everybody there. With the conclusion, is there anything else that you would like to add for the audience?
I think that's it. I mean, we talked about consistency and about just doing the dang thing, right? So I would just give you an assignment to go out and, do a live video today. Don't stall on it. It doesn't have to be long. Just go hit that record button and make it happen.
Yes. That's a challenge for all of you listening right now. When you're
Absolutely.
done here, you need to do 2 things, actually 3 things. So when you're done watching here, first thing is go and
Grab
sign
your
up for the
freebies.
summit. Sign up for the
Summit.
summit, sign up for the freebies, and then go and do your own live video. If you've done it before, that's great. But if you feel you need to keep the momentum going, by all means, just, get your calendar sorted out and just write down in your calendar, commit to it. This is the day that I'm going to do live videos. I'm going to attract my audience and I'm going to attract my right customers and clients. Misty, again, thank you so much. It's been a blast having you here. And I wish you all of the best for the summit. I'm sure it's going to be a great, great success. I'd love to hear from you afterwards so we can just hear how it all went.
Thank you. Appreciate it.